Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements. This is patch 4.1.5, which I'm calling Rise of the Commanders. Now this is a huge patch. It is going to have a massive impact on the way you play Conqueror, and maybe not as big of an impact as the Phase 2 patch, but pretty darn close. So first up, in front of me you will see a building plan called the shooting range, and this was shipped with the original version of Conqueror, and this is a little innocuous thing that just added happiness, but now it has an extra purpose. So now it is a new subtype called Training Yard, and add-on pack authors, you can go ahead and create your own training yards or add training yard support to your existing plots. Though I will warn you, one of the things I never covered in videos in the past is that if you retcon, change one of your old building plans to one of the new subtypes, you do need to tell your users to rebuild it, or the new effect will not go into play. But anyway, if you have one of these training yards from Conqueror in your outposts, they will now slowly start giving any of your unassigned warriors and whoever's assigned to the training yard, to the shooting range in this case, it will slowly generate XP for them so that they can rank up without actually participating in battles, and then get all the way up to rank 3. With that, they'll only have to go into battles to get their last 2 ranks. So this is going to be a massive way to change the way you rank up your soldiers. So it'll be more likely you can have powerful soldiers. So if you want to spend some time letting them train before you start running your assaults, that's going to be an awesome way to do it. So that's going to be a huge game changer for you guys who are investing in building up big armies. And now the reason for the name of this patch, Rise of the Commanders, is because we've finally done something that I had originally wanted to do at launch, but we didn't quite have time to get it in. And then when I knew we were going to be moving toward the different phases of mechanics, I opted to just delay this until sometime after the Phase 2 mechanics were in and fairly stable. So before I go into what this commander feature is, I do want to mention that I fixed a really nasty bug that has probably been driving all of you guys nuts, and that's with your guys being randomly converted into workers, and that would throw all your stats off and break everything. That has finally been fixed, and that was really important for this particular patch because we needed to stabilize all of those resources. We needed to have you guys not battling and fighting against the bugs in order to get this the Phase 2 mechanics working. So now onto the commander mechanics. So commanders are essentially the leaders of your outposts and vassals. So they actually replace the leader, so you can't have both. If you have a leader assigned, you can change them to a commander. And leaders are still available in outposts, but commanders are a unique thing for vassals, because vassals, unless you take control of them, you could not assign a leader to them. But with commanders, you actually can, and basically you choose between whether you want a leader or a commander. The leaders have the traits that you're used to from Rise of the Commonwealth. Speaking of, we have those all documented on the wiki now if you haven't seen that, so you can read about the traits there without having to read through the explanation in-game. But on the commanders, all of their traits and weaknesses are all focused on the Conqueror mechanics and the various plot benefits that you would gain from those new special plot types that we've introduced since Conqueror has launched. So all of the mechanics are going to be around raids, around assaults, around these different plot types, around your soldiers, etc. So there's about 80 new traits to choose from. So those of you guys who are faction pack or add-on pack authors, if you want to go ahead and create your new commander cards, the Faction Leaders Toolkit is up to date with that information on how you can do that. And just like with Rise of the Commonwealth, I'm definitely open to suggestions for additional leader traits in the future, so head to the forums if you want to suggest new commander traits. But let me show you how these work, because these are freaking awesome. They add all sorts of new unique gameplay options, new ways to mess with and give you guys benefits toward those tricky new resources that came with Phase 2. And what you'll do here is head to your map on your Warplaner's desk and hit Manage Empire. And you'll see here that there's a new line there where it says Red Rocket Truck Stop is commanded by Jammer, and so you'll see whoever's commanding the current outpost when you activate this. And you'll see there are 2 new options here: Assign Commander and Dismiss Commander. Now, unlike the city plans, the city leaders, which you assign from the city planner's desk, The assign commander option allows you to remotely assign commanders, and the reason for that is we're trying to get you in the habit of operating out of your main base, and also because we want you to be able to assign commanders to vassals, and since you don't necessarily have access to a war planner's desk at vassals, this was important that you were able to do this. So you can go ahead and hit assign commander, and it will let you choose between your outposts and vassals. Now this is a fresh save. I haven't even gotten my first vassal yet. Just whipped this up for the sake of making this video. And so I only have one available. We'll just go ahead and choose that for the sake of demonstrating this. And then just like the leaders, in fact, up in the corner, I noticed the message still says leaders. I'll have to add that to my fix list for next patch. But it will bring up the first of your available commanders, and then you can cycle through them with the next and previous options. And you'll notice there's a new type line there between the name of the leader and the list of their traits, and that is the faction line. Now some NPCs will have NA there as they're not part of a faction, and that faction becomes relevant during certain traits. So there's a trait called reinforcements, which allows that NPC to send reinforcements from their faction. For example, Paladin Dance will send some Brotherhood of Steel to support you in combat if you have trouble during an assault. And you can read about all of these new traits either on our wiki that's updated there or right in game under this explanation. So if you look at that third line, so we've got Codsworth and Faction Robots, and then you see Dedicated Servant, Waste Averse, and Overprotective. Those are the major trait, their minor trait, and then their weakness. So that's the pattern that we use for all of those included with Conqueror. Faction pack authors or add-on pack authors in general who create their own commander cards can can add additional minor benefits and weaknesses. So theirs might have more. They can also have less. They can also eliminate some of those, so they don't have to give them all of them. In fact, I've seen a lot of them opt to not give a major trait to some of the minor characters to make sure that the companions and other important NPCs stand out as leaders. And so I assume the same thing will happen with commanders. So keep an eye out for updates to add-on packs or new commander packs to be released after this update. But if you go to explanation here, you will see that we can look up the different traits and you can see what they do. You'll also see that we changed the format briefly or slightly from the leader traits explanation, is that we added a plus, minus, or M in front of each, so you can know whether it's a major, a weakness, or a minor benefit. And most of them should be pretty obvious from the descriptions, but we thought it would be nice to have that information right there. And we'll probably go back to the leader traits and apply the same little update. And so you can just scroll through these and you can see at a glance what each of them are going to do. You can get some ideas of what you can expect from this by just glancing through this. But hop in game or hop into the wiki and get a full view of it. There are some really interesting ones that really change the way things work by a lot. In fact, there are a couple of commanders that will actually come on your assaults with you. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. My personal favorite is McCready, who has the Mercenary Band major trait, which makes it so that all of your different faction packs installed can potentially provide recruits to McCready. So when he is in charge of an outpost and a new recruit is recruited to his outpost, it could come from any faction pack you have installed, which I think is just a lot of fun. And you can end up with this really wonky army of just random people. So it's a lot of fun, and will hopefully encourage you guys to install more faction packs, because it's always fun to have more of those installed, just so that you get more variety in combat in who's defending and who's attacking you. But once you find a commander you like, you simply select Make Commander, and it will send them to that particular outpost or vassal, and they will be in charge. One thing to note with this, if you're playing with Jammer's questline, is that Jammer will always be the commander of your main outpost. You can't change that. That might be something we let up on in the future, but it was important that he is always at your main base, and we want him at the war planner's desk so you can find him. So that limitation is there. But otherwise, you can make anybody who you have unlocked that has a commander card, which with Conqueror, with this patch, all of the companions in both vanilla and DLC have leader cards, with the exception of Dogmeat. I know some people are disappointed by that, but I'm sure there will be a commander card released by an add-on pack for Dogmeat very, very quickly. Unlike Rise of the Commonwealth, we decided to add a few additional commanders inside of Conqueror. And so if you are playing through Jammer's questline, you will slowly meet characters that are brand new, and there are 4 currently. We'll probably add more in the future, and these will come as custom commanders, and when you meet them, they'll have a little conversation introducing themselves. You can learn about them by talking with them, and then you'll have the option to assign them to one of your outposts. From there, they will then become available people to assign as commanders via the War Planner's desk, so that you have more people to help run your little Raider empire. So I assume that you'll get a lot of new commanders from faction packs and from other add-on packs, probably new commander packs in the very near future, because these are the easiest types of add-on packs to create. So if you've never created an add-on and this has got you excited and you want to go out and create new commander cards, that information is in the Faction Leaders Toolkit. There's a special tutorial just for this. It's very, very easy. You can do it with any mod added NPC, any vanilla NPC, any DLC NPC, and it doesn't even require you to parent them to it. It's done in such a way that you can access any of those remotely and give them a set of traits and make them a commander. It's very, very easy. Basically, any unique NPC that can also be a settler is eligible. I know some crafty add-on pack authors and commander or leader pack authors have figured out that they can actually go, if they're willing to do vanilla edits, they can actually add that script to some various NPCs and force them to be leaders. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this system, and I'm excited to see what you guys do with commanders going forward. Once again, if after you read through all of these traits, if you find that there's some stuff missing or some cool ideas you have for some unique major traits, definitely make those suggestions on the simsettlements.com forums. I'm sure we will have a post set up to coordinate all of those suggestions. I love reading suggestions. They definitely influence future development, and hopefully we can get some more commander traits in there. So that was a lot of information. Definitely read through the patch notes. There were some huge bug fixes that happened with this patch and lots of little tweaks that I didn't mention here. And then after that, let's move on to some other news I have, because I don't want to wait for a news video. So if you were just here for the patch notes, you can check out now, but I would love if all of you would stick around. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. So first up is the Masters contest. So mad props to everybody who's been participating in that. I thank you guys for putting in all of the effort. I know Spectacle Island is a beast of a settlement to build, and that contest actually wraps up tomorrow night, Saturday the 12th. So that you guys, if you're working on that, you have till midnight on the 12th Central Time to finish that up and get those in. So hurry up, you're running out of time. And we have there's going to be some really cool builds with that. I don't know when we'll get them out to you guys, but we're going to be taking some extra time to make sure that we give really good tours to all of these, because there's a huge prize on the line. For those of you guys who don't know, the Masters contest was a special invite-only contest with a $500 first prize. So we're going to take our time and make sure we judge these right. So expect those to be available to you in video form and for actual consumption, probably sometime in early November, maybe end of October if we're really lucky. But we're going to be focused on the October City Plan contest for the end of October likely. So look for the Masters contest stuff to come out for you guys to consume sometime in early November. So speaking of the October contest, if you're looking to join the City Plan contest and you've never done it before, or if you have done it before, we've got a great one this month that's real easy. It's Boston Airport. It's one of the smallest settlements there is, so it should make it nice and easy if you were looking to kind of get your feet wet, but you're intimidated by the City Plan idea. That's going to be a great one for you guys to jump in on. That is still going now until the 28th, so plenty of time left to get a design in for that. If you're interested in that, check the link below. I'll have a link to the City Plan contest forums where we've got all of the rules and how you can enter into that. One more thing regarding city plans. So a couple of videos ago, I think it was a news video, maybe it was the last patch note video, I mentioned a new method of city plan compacting that we're working on. Basically, we've come up with some scripts we can apply to city plans to shrink them down so they take up less script data by a substantial amount, and they actually improve performance. We've had some people report gains of 10 to 12 FPS in their cities by using this new method. Now, what's going to have to happen is for us to do this method is we have to apply it to all of our city plans within Conqueror and in the City Plan Contest Entries mod and in Rise of the Commonwealth. And before we do that, we want to make sure there are no bugs or gotchas that we didn't find. So we released a batch of settlements as a beta of this system for people to test with, and we've been getting some great feedback on those. We've just released another batch of those, and we want you guys to check those out. So if you're interested in participating in that beta, check the link below. We want to make sure that we really get these tires kicked, but this could be a massive improvement to stability, FPS, and people's ability to use city plans going forward. So we're very, very excited for this, and I would love if you guys could help us out with some public beta testing. So check out the link below for that. But guys, as always, definitely read the patch notes. I think I've said that 3 times because there's a lot of little stuff that we've changed, and some bugs that maybe were driving you nuts have probably finally been fixed. All right, all that said, guys, take care and enjoy the mods.